Hello everyone, my name is Brett Prin. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with COVID as an American with comorbidity. This is not what I intended to be my first video on my channel. I have a lot more interesting things to say than this, but I keep getting asked how I'm doing and I'm getting really anxious to feel like I'm being productive after a month of feeling like I've been not productive at all. So I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone here and do this video first. I'm going to do my best to sum up my experience with COVID as quickly as possible up to this point, although I have been suffering from these kind of symptoms since before quarantine, so please forgive me if this is still a little bit longer than what I'd like. My partner and I both came down with COVID originally back right before quarantine started. We had cases of COVID in our area at the time, but not enough where you were really worried that you had it. That being said, we both got sicker than we'd ever been, which I'm sure you're used to hearing. Between the two of us, we had every COVID symptom. I think besides one, I can't remember which one it was. I think maybe loss of taste. Although most of the symptoms both of us had, other than a few. I've personally had, I think, every COVID symptom except for fever, thankfully, and I think loss of taste is the other one I haven't had between March and now. So anyways, after that was done, we went back to work thinking that we were all better, or at least better enough. You know how there's always that little trail of stuff that, lingers after you have a cold or a flu or something. But I was good enough to work. And so I went back to work. And I don't know if I ever felt like I fully recovered. It more felt like I was living with perpetual exhaustion with these moments of other COVID stuff flare-ups. But keep in mind, too, I live with chronic illness, and pushing through pain, pushing through fatigue is what my normal day is. And the fact that 2020 was particularly harsh made me feel like it wasn't unusual for me to be more exhausted than normal. It didn't occur to me in a million years that I was still suffering from any of this, even as it progressed more and more as the year went on, and I found myself getting sicker and sicker. It came to a head, I think it was the last week in July. I got really, really, really sick. I slept pretty much 3 days straight. The third day I was up a little bit more, an hour here, an hour there. And then when I woke up the following morning, I was feeling pretty good. So I decided I was going to go back to work because I'm a workaholic. I made it a day and a half, and I was, in my defense, feeling really great, feeling pretty much normal. And then I crashed again. And this time I crashed harder. I slept 3 days, but when I woke up from it, my breathing was still ragged. I was still exhausted. I couldn't walk the dog in the morning without needing like a 2-hour nap to recover from it. It was rough. I ended up taking 2 separate COVID tests. I ended up in the ER getting a chest x-ray and my vitals checked. I've been on the phone with I don't know how many televisits dealing with this. And it's just been a lot of fun, let me tell you that. All of my providers are telling me the same thing. My safest place is at home. The fact that I've had 2 negative nasal swabs doesn't mean that I didn't have COVID back in March, or that I don't have COVID now, that there's no treatment for me, and that the best thing I can do is just rest, and listen to my body, and that my body will tell me when we go back to work. And that's really frustrating for someone who just wants to be productive. They also tell me that the nasal strips are completely unreliable, and the only way to confirm I ever had COVID would be an antibody test, which I cannot get while I have COVID symptoms. And considering my COVID symptoms aren't going away anytime soon, we may never get that confirmation. They also tell me it doesn't really matter if it's COVID or something just super closely related to COVID. It all means the same thing for me. Staying at home, self-quarantining, listening to my body, and resting. The hardest thing I think about this is the mental game, because you'll have days where you have energy and you feel like you can do stuff, but the second you start moving around, your body just reminds you, no, you can't. You gotta lay, you gotta sit in bed, you gotta relax, relax, relax. That's all you can do. Even this audio I'm recording right now, I'm recording in 1 minute stints. I need to take regular breaks to rest my voice, to rest my eyes, to rest my body in between recording this, because I can't talk for that long without getting too exhausted. After about a week, I thought I was ready to go back, and the muscle atrophy hit. That was probably the hardest for me, because as my body has gotten weaker, what amount of energy I need to exert to do simple things like drink a glass of water is larger and requires more energy, which makes my COVID worse. So I pretty much balance my time and energy now between sleeping and trying to keep my body as active as it can without making me too much worse, so that my body can be as healthy as possible when this is over and my muscles aren't beyond help for atrophy. And as if all this isn't frustrating enough, about 2 weeks ago, I ended up injuring my rotator cuff bad enough where I was in like 9 to 10 pain, even on 800 milligrams of Advil, like trying not to vomit or pass out, tears streaming down my face, pain. For a good week, even after I met with my doctor and they put together a pain regimen, which included marijuana and a series of meds that can be taken with it, but not steroids or opioids, because she wasn't sure how it would react with the COVID or with my other medical conditions, so we had to be really careful on what I could and couldn't take. But that was fun, just living with insane amounts of pain for about 2 weeks. Thankfully, that's mostly died off. It died off a few days ago, and then I went back into sleep mode and slept most of a handful of days. So I pretty much lost the last 2 weeks between the pain and the exhaustion. I make it sound like it's so horrible, but mostly it's just sleeping or getting high and playing video games. I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's just when you're someone that wants to go out and work and be doing active things, it's very discouraging when this is what you have. So that pretty much brings us to the basics of where we are now. Today's been a good day. On a good day, I am able to get up, get dressed, go to the bathroom, eat, feed my dog, and take my pills before I need my morning nap. Usually I have to take little breaks in between those activities, or have Chaz help me with them because I'm not able to do them on my own. But today, yay, I had enough energy to do all that. So after about a month in, where am I? My rotator cuff is feeling better. It's still, I have to be careful with it. I can't stretch it in too much or use it too much, but at least it's not in that constant, just unbearable pain anymore. So that's nice. My breathing is definitely better, although with the wildfires and the marijuana, my lungs are not as good as they were 2 weeks ago, but I'm now off the marijuana again since the pain has died down enough where I don't need it to eat, and so that's nice. So hopefully we'll see improvement there soon. I've gotten more independent. Like, I'm able to go to the bathroom, get dressed, make myself a bowl of cereal or a peanut butter sandwich without aid. I can drink now without aid. So I am improving. It's just improving still means I can't cook for myself. I can't walk up and down the stairs. I can't walk too far or too long without needing a nap. I can't really even take a shower without needing to lie down. Like, pretty much between every tasks I do, I need a break. I need to rest. I need to sleep. And I think that's the main difference between my good and bad days, is on my bad days, I sleep way more and I need to depend on Chaz for help for small things way more. And then on good days, I'm able to take care of myself a little bit better and to do stuff like record this audio in little minute stints in between naps. I think the biggest struggle for me with all of this is the mental struggle. It's trying to be patient while my body heals and not push it too hard. It's dealing with the fear and frustration of not knowing if or when I'll ever go back to work, because some of the stuff that I could have that's post-COVID is really scary, and I don't know if I'll ever get my full health back. And despite how bad I have it, and I know I'm going through it, all I can think about sometimes is how people have it worse than me, or how there's people that are catching it now that don't need to, or people going through what I'm going through or will go through in the future, because people won't stay inside, they won't self-quarantine, they won't wear masks, and I don't understand how people can be so careless with other people's lives. I am not the only one. I'm not even in the COVID statistics. I'm not. And look what I'm dealing with. And there's so many people out there like me that are dealing with this endless post-COVID stuff. There's so many people with hospitalizations who suffered multiple strokes and have a weaker heart. Even my heart now, I've had a strong heart all my life, and I'm going to have to go see a cardiologist when this is done, because I can feel that it's weaker than it once was. There's been damage that has been done to my body through this that is permanent, and I won't know how much of my health I'm going to get back until I can get to the point where I can just survive a day without needing a freaking nap. You know what I mean? Like, until the post-COVID stuff cools down, I don't know what healthy me is going to look like. I want to believe when this is over, I'm going to be lifting weights and, writing my novel and doing my YouTube video and working and all of the things that I love and want to do. But in the forums and the support groups that I'm in right now for the type of things that they're looking at what I might have, this is a reality that may never be the case for me. And I hope I'm lucky. I hope that I make a full recovery. But this may be something that's permanent, I'm learning. This may be something I have to be careful with my entire life. I may never have my health back. That being said, even if I never recover my full health, I'm still going to be okay. I have a loving partner who's very caring. I have an amazing support group of friends who I am so privileged and honored to have in my life. I am a fighter, and I will make the best of whatever life my body allows after this. I just am really anxious to see what kind of life that's going to be. So if I could tell you all anything, it would be wear a mask. Don't go to that frickin' party right now. Take care of yourself. Think of others. Even if you don't have comorbidities, think about the fact that that person next to you at the grocery store might. That coughing on them literally may be a death sentence. Literally. And just be kind. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourselves. So I think that's all the energy I have for today. Hopefully this answers a lot of your guys' questions. If you have more, please post them below and I'll do like a follow-up video for any questions. But anyways, I hope everything is wonderful with you all, and it feels weird telling you to like, subscribe, or comment, because I don't really feel like you all need to do any of that based on this video. But, feel free if you want to, because sure, why not?